Hello, Liad. Welcome to this post-masterclass interview. Thank you to be here.
Hello, Graziano. It's a pleasure.
Hello. At first, I want to make you my compliments for the masterclass, for the information you share with us. It was really very interesting, and I was very thrilled to listen to what you will say about this very important topic in the Reiki community, that was the initiation topic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Initiation is a very
thank you.
Topic.
Thank you to share this information that you in your study. It was not a short study, no. It was a study that took his time. He was in Japan. I think you was researching there. Maybe you talk with people, and then you had to put down all the information. And
yeah, it was a process. Let's say it took years. Obviously, the thesis is something that takes years. It takes. I say you cannot write a thesis without putting inside sweat, tears, and blood.
Exactly. Yes, but then the result, it's not something really amazing. We could say this could be really a kind of initiation also. This write the thesis, searching.
It was a rite of passage.
Yes, exactly.
And I have to say, I've learned in Japan, one of the things I've noticed in Japan, I've been to a lot of temples in Japan. You've been to Japan, right? So there's a lot of temples and everywhere, right? And so many different ones too. And I've been to many of them. And I've noticed something visiting those temples or shrines, as you can call them as well. You know how you walk in, you know how you go into, but you don't know how you come out. Sometimes you go in, you come out different from whence you started a few hours ago. And I definitely had the same experience. I was not the same person walking out of this thesis experience, of this initiation or thesis about initiation experience, as I was coming out. And my view of Reiki was not the same, and my view of initiation was not the same.
Yes, I agree. Apart, all the holy places, they have some things, no? Because also you feel maybe in touch with it, and you go in resonance with the ideology, the religion, the culture. It's a mix of ingredients that then makes you have this feeling of changing, transformation, maybe is the right word.
Transformation is a great word here.
Yes, and okay, I would like to make you some questions that I think is interesting to go a bit more deep inside. And one is this: at a certain point, you talk about initiation is horizontally, not vertically. And so I will reassume what you said, and then you will add yours to my question. So it means in Japan, Reiju was something, and also now still is like this, they give to every meeting. Every time they meet together, they pass Reiju. Also, Justin Steen talked about it in his masterclass, and he said that even the passage from Shoden to Okuden is something very slow, and you have to attend a lot of time in this meeting and get Reiju, and then after all this, maybe you can go, you can pass.
Exactly. So as you know, Justin is a member of the Gakkai, just like myself, and you probably know also that we are signed on some forums that we cannot discuss what is going on within what is going on within. Sorry, I have to say good night to my
go, don't worry.
Oh, You want to see?
Oh,
Say hi.
this nice boy. Hello.
You want to say hi to this Adam kid? Look at the camera. Look over here. This is guy.
Hello. Ciao.
Yeah. Can you say ciao?
Ciao. Very cute boy.
Ciao.
How old is he?
He's 4.5 years old.
Okay. A bit bigger than my son. They are fantastic, really. Children are really the essence of life.
Okay. So first of all, about so I can't really discuss what's going on in the meetings, but I can. Okay, there are a few questions here. One was about Reiju being horizontal, as in when I say horizontal, Reiju basically has one. It's not levelized. Yes, there is no Reiju for level 1, Reiju for level 2, etc.
Exactly.
At least as far as we understand how things looked in the 1920s. Okay. Nowadays, there are lineages in Japan that do have levelized initiations, or they can even call them Reiju, but there are, but this is today and in all sorts of students, yeah, with possible and even probable influence, Western influence, yeah. But when we speak about Reiju, we're talking about something that is not levelized. It is one thing. And as you've said correctly, it passes from one level to another by the passage of time and the number of attendances. It's not that every meeting has Reiju given. I would say every time a specific type of meeting is had, okay, there are different types of meetings. There could be meetings more to learn something, more to discuss, or more to give treatments and Reiju and stuff like that. So there is a certain type of meeting that repeats itself where Reiju would be given.
Mm-hmm.
And the attendance at these meetings at a certain minimal amount of times, as in, let's say, for example, a minimum of 10 or a minimum of 20, yeah, that's a minimum amount of times in some sort of maximum frame of time. So within 1-2 years, yeah, so within this frame of time, you need to attend this many times of these meetings, receive Reiju, and then once you've had, and other things are done also, and time passes, then you can move on to other levels and learn the techniques and become certified, example, for Okuden and stuff like that.
I would like to develop this. And my question is, can we assume that this Reiju, the meaning is to develop inside yourself the awareness about Reiki, you know, that because you become it several times. It's like I give you, or you become an input, and through this input, you can develop inside you, I don't know, awareness, or you can develop Reiki that you have. What is the main topic? Why to give it several times and not just one like in?
Okay, it's an interesting question. Interesting question. I cannot say that there is one definitive answer for it. Yeah,
yes.
There are all sorts of stated or non-stated meanings to this initiation ritual and what it does. Okay, and what it's intent to develop. We can look at it both from the narrative of Reiki. So what is the story that Reiki people tell themselves and the community and other people, and also what is the narrative on sources of these initiations. For example, in esoteric Buddhism, I can look at esoteric Buddhism and see what Shingon-shu or Tendai the Tendai sect or Shingon sect or other sects are saying about Kanjo, and seeing that, knowing right what we know, that there is a connection, I can also infer about our initiation, because they share similar lines. So this, you can say what you just said, that the initiation gives us a better understanding of Reiki, a better connection of Reiki, a better understanding of ourselves, of our nature inside as something that is already connected or has the potential or faculty to be connected with Reiki. One could say that it is a spiritual blessing that furthers and deepens our this connection or this experience, hands-on experience. And and one could say also that this is a transference of essence. Yeah, so we are here in some sort of a situation where we can kind of create, like squeeze out some very good essence of Reiki and put it inside a person. So it's something that, gives life to his system and gives him the experience and allows him, again, once back to this experience and to this connection. But in a bigger picture, you could definitely say that these are all basically, there are different modes to look at this experience, to look at this ritual that basically recreates a certain experience, or recreates a certain connection, and is okay. Here's the point. It displays a Japanese worldview, spiritual worldview, that is, let's say, impermanent, and that is, in spirituality or with divine, it's not something that you do. It could be a very good click, right? And that's it. No, it is a repeatable thing, okay? There is a cycle in nature. There is a cycle in the universe, okay? The energy comes in, the ki comes in, and it gives life, and it develops things, and then it also goes to the other side of the cycle. It degenerates. And also enlightenment is like this. Practice is like this. Life is like this. This is a cycle. So Reiju is part of this cycle.
Mm-hmm. And my next questions about what you are saying, it comes me in mind this. You exactly talked about the spirituality in Japan. You talk about even the experience of maybe enlightenment, of Satori or Hanshin Ritsume,
Yeah.
And so this ritual, in a way, want to recreate this. Okay, want to recreate this aspect or this experience.
Yeah.
Now my question is this. What works? The ritual, independent of who do it, or it works because the one that do it makes the ritual work? I don't know if I was clear. It means if for example, I take the ritual and I give it to someone that maybe get mastering, it happens in 3 days, first level, second level, third level, and then he can spread it to others. Or it's also important who gives, because in the masterclass, you talked about esoteric Buddhism in which it needs a lot of years to develop, these initiations that
Yes.
sometimes is allow you just maybe to read some text that so I would like to that you maybe, I don't know if you can, but maybe explain this issue. What is working? The ritual, independent of who do it, or it's important who do it to make the ritual work?
It depends on who you ask this question.
I ask it to you.
My person, yeah. I mean to say that there are different traditions in Reiki and in looking at this, and they can give different answers.
Mhm.
My personal belief is that they are both important. I, in fact, do not, okay, so there are many components to the ritual. A lot of them are important to the ritual. And I mean, key components, right? It doesn't matter if you use this symbol or that symbol, or you do
Yes.
or you do that. That's not what
Yes, sure.
the components are such, like, the person giving the initiation, the person receiving the initiation, the ritual protocol, and such things. All of them are key ingredients in this ritual. And they're all important. I cannot honestly say that I believe that the initiation to Reiki works under every protocol and every person giving and every person receiving in any circumstance in any point in the world. No, I don't think so. I think that the person giving the initiation, and he's not just the person himself, because even saying the person giving the initiation, we're thinking as if he's like this something permanent and fixed through time. He is a different person in the morning, and he's a different person in the afternoon. He maybe wake up in a great feeling, and in the afternoon his wife said something and he's really annoyed. He can be different person from 1 hour to the next. So, and the state of mind that he is in is important in my opinion, as is the state of mind of the receiver. As are a lot of things. The ritual also, the story also is important. As a rite of passage, for example, or as the whole thing, the aura of importance, for example, the social contract between me as a receiver and you as a giver of this ritual, the social contract between us that something special is going to happen now that will change my status afterwards is also a key factor here. Very important.
So,
a lot of things. I think that they're all important, and also you can take them one by one and squeeze them out, by the way, and also find out something there. This is something that happens at the height of the mandala phase in the original Kanjo, by the way, in which a mantra is visualized like this
whole
presence of the divine, right? A certain mantra of the deity, who is the main deity for the ritual. For example, like Yakshi or Amida Buddha and stuff like that. And then one by one, they dissolve the letters of the mantra until they become empty itself. Because part of the three mystery, you need to become the body of the Buddha, the sound of the Buddha, right? The speech of the Buddha, and the mind of the Buddha. And the mind of the Buddha is emptiness, eventually. It's shunyata. It's the fact that the universe and everything is empty in a way. Also the initial.
Yeah, so we can say that I try to reassume that the initiation is something that in a systemical way it works. It's several parts have to be involved in a way to make it work. And maybe, yes, because every part is part of the system, no? Otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this, let's say in what I'm saying now, I'm in a way kind of refuting for example, the premise that, just do the ritual as I've taught you, just do the protocol. You know what? Even if you make mistakes, they will correct it for you, right? And just do what not, and it works, and go on with your life. I am less of that school, let's say.
Yes, me also. And okay, now another small question, because you talked about, there are some treasures in the esoterical school, no? You mention it. They are not, it's esoteric because you don't see them. You have to research it to arrive to it. So
this is in itself a very important. Oh, by the way, another thing that I did not mention this in the masterclass, but another thing that we inherited from esoteric Buddhism is a very distinct and special type of secrecy, right? When you say esoteric, it means
esoteric, yes,
information that is not known to everyone. That's exoteric, right? Esoteric is information that is known to few for all sorts of reasons. But the esoteric Buddhism, just like Reiki, by the way, think about it. Like, think about the symbols, for example, especially these days. Symbols are secret, right?
Yes.
Everybody know the symbols exist. Just go to Google, write Reiki symbols, you see the whole thing spread out there. So what's secret about it? Okay, a secret usually is information that is not apparent in the public sphere. Okay, even that in the public sphere, it is not known that the thing exists. Okay, if Mr. John is cheating on his wife, okay, then it's a secret and no one is supposed to know about it outside of John and his and the person he's with. Okay, that's secret. Okay, but if everybody knows that it's happening, okay. So what is secret about the Reiki symbols or the Reiki initiation when you can go to books and find out all about it? Everybody knows it exists. Everybody can get the information too, right? The secret is this, that there is only one particular gateway through which you can utilize this information in an effective way. As in, okay, you can get the symbols, but it doesn't work because you weren't initiated, right? This is our story. This is the story in esoteric Buddhism. Exactly the same thing. You can steal the manual from the head temple master, but if you weren't initiated into it, you will not understand what is written in there really. You will not have to use the tools and the powers in there anyways. You will see just symbols and you wouldn't be able to employ them. This is exactly the same type of culture of secrecy. It is not anything, yeah.
Yes, based on this, I want to go now a bit in another direction that I think it's interesting to develop. And it's about the protocols. You said in past, it was one protocol, okay, one initiation protocol, and it was given always the same, it was not different by level.
I assume it's one protocol. I do not have access to Usui Sensei in 1922.
Sure. We don't have this information yet.
Or between 1922 to 1926, all of it, to say all of the time it was one ritual, it never changed, and I have this proof.
Yes, no, sure.
I assume it was like this.
But my question is this: once it arrived to the West, okay, Takata make important changes. And
also before it arrived in the West.
Or maybe even before, but I think in the West, then it gets vertical, And also, as you said, Takata, half of the masters didn't get the master initiation and the other half yes. But my question is this, you don't think that in the time after this ritual, it get a bit like commercial, you know, everybody start to make his own ritual, he start to put inside some things he thought is it's stronger, it's better, and suddenly we have a lot of rituals and a lot of people have some things new. And you don't think we lost a bit the essence of what
Okay.
it
So,
had was, it what was, and what it is now? We completely lost it.
so when this is a major part of what I did for my thesis, and when I spoke about an initiation during my thesis, and my opinion about Reiki changing, this is one of the main things. And I'm sorry if I will give you a longer answer that will
It's okay.
give the background to
Yes, go on.
the way I answer. So as I explained in the masterclass, my thesis was about the connection of Reiki initiation to esoteric Buddhism. As I said, I have this notion that I feel that all the things that are mentioned as the hallmark, the fingerprint of esoteric Buddhism, I learned that in Reiki, so I see a connection. Now I go out to prove that there is a connection. Problem, when I'm going to write a thesis about this, is what initiation do I use? Okay, because I'm a Reiki master. I know that there are differing initiation protocols. If I ask Master A from Israel, he says, this is how I initiate. If I ask Master B from Israel, who lives in the next town, he does it differently, not to mention from other countries or other places over time. So obviously, there is a multitude of forms to the Reiki initiation, right? How can I say I will show the connection between initiation to this something when I have so many different individuals to choose from? It's like an alien coming to Earth and taking one human and saying, okay, humans have glasses, they have long hair, they're this and that height. Very problematic. So academically, what I had to do was first say, okay, I will show a few versions and see what is from different timelines of Reiki, from different points in time, from different places, and try to see what are the connecting dots. To say, okay, I took the alien says I took 10 people, and I see some have long hair, short hair, but they all have, almost all of them have two eyes, one nose, two ears. They have, this set of ribs, 32 teeth. Okay, so now I understand overall anatomy of a human. Okay, this was the dictated academically. So I needed some sort of anatomy of initiation, or at least to understand basically what are the connecting dots. So I collected initiations from all over the world and Reiki masters from many different places. I collected from Israel and from Europe and from Australia and United States and from Japan, and they sent me the manuals. And I collected, and some of them were, Western Reiki, and some of them were from pre-Takata lineages, some of them even from, let's say, supposed students of, of Gakkai and stuff like that. And then I look at all of them and try to find what's connecting the dots. And that's when I get, a big punch to the face. Actually a good one, when I see that there is a pattern that repeats in all of them from the most earliest points to the most commercialized, as you call them, and westernized versions today, there is some anatomy that underneath all of the clothes and the nice ribbons and everything, there is still a recurring anatomy. Okay? This is the pattern of the Reiki initiation. Now, a few things, this was the basis eventually for my thesis, because I say not this initiation that I took from Reiki Master X is what I will compare or what I will analyze. I analyze all the initiations, which the master initiation, the skeleton key for all initiations, and then I analyze that. And I say, on that, I understand what is the ritual logic that is behind all of the initiations. What is the ritual logic of the person who created the initiation at the start? What are phases that return time and again at every initiation? Like if I say to you, Graziano, I don't know what your initiation looks like. It could be on the face, on the protocol, totally different from anything I've seen. But at some point, as you start the initiation proper with the student, with the initiate, you had some things before that you did on yourself, on the space, all of this. But as you start the initiation, right, you do some sort of procedure to connect and open the initiate. Maybe you stand behind them and you look inside and you peer through all of his system to see the bottom of him, or maybe you draw some sort of symbol to go from up to down, or you point and you do like with your fingers up and down or up, or maybe you take an egg and you put it on their head and go and it goes like this. I don't know. It doesn't matter what is the procedure. What matters is the point of it. Here you are opening the initiate and establishing a connection and opening them up. This is something that returns in every initiation. Now, there are these phases over and over and over again, which help us understand the ritual meaning, and it helps us also maybe have a glimpse of, if I boil it down, if I thin it down to these bare bones, I can get probably a good notion of what the original Reiju even looked like. But going backwards to the macro. When I spoke, for example, with a colleague of mine who had studied from something like 6 Takata masters, Robert Fuston, and he explained this in one of the webinars that we gave together. He said, when Liad first told me that he understood the pattern of all initiations, I thought he was crazy. And he said something like that. But when I spoke to him and he told me those things one by one, I was mind blown to understand that he really got it. Now, not just that, according to Robert and what he learned from the Takata masters, Takata taught these things to her students. Each phase that she taught her student, when you do this, this is what it means, this is what it does. When you afterwards do this, this is what happens. This is how you maximize it, okay? So she taught this stuff and somehow it disappeared. And Robert said to me, look, I understood it from studying from the Takata masters and collecting this information. You, by analyzing the rituals, you completely understood this thing. You got to this understanding of the Reiki initiation. This, by the way, when I say I want to do a workshop on initiation, this is the stuff that I want to do. I want to sit in a classroom with Reiki masters and talk about these steps of the original, the skeleton key, the master key of initiation, each step that comes back in each initiation, and what every step means, what it does, what it means about us, what it means about Reiki, and what it means to us so that we can maximize it. Now to the final part of the answer is, let's put all the clothes and the ribbons back on this core. I think that the evolution of the initiation is actually inevitable. And I think that it's not commercializing, and I think that it's foreseeable, it is inevitable, we should expect it to happen, because ritual and myth, or ritual and story, they go hand in hand. As the Reiki story progresses, as it changes and morphs in time, in cultural, in cultural, I'm missing the word, context, obviously the story will change, okay? You know, community, individualism, the advent of different, you know, what is Reiki, where it comes from, what it does, right? You know, in here it's from, the ground is Shinto and Buddhism and stuff like that. And there it's with Christian people. Then it comes to Israel with mainly Jewish people. And from there it moves to other places in the Middle East with some Muslims. Obviously the story, the narrative, the way that things are practiced change because of context, because of what things mean to us. The ritual will obviously change to reflect that, because ritual goes hand in hand with the myth. The myth reflect the ritual reflect the myth. And we always see these, they do a tag, okay? So the story changed as it moved from Japan to the West, right? With Takata, the story changed. So obviously with it, initiation changed. And when her students learned and added all sorts of new age materials and beliefs into their systems, naturally in time, the ritual changed, their practice changed, and it will continue to change. Question is whether the core will stay the same. In a way, probably still, yes.
And my final question is this: going back now to the West, not to Japan, you know, because okay, I think we can point that Reiju should be a way to gives you an input to a research to recreate a certain experience, okay? That can be Satori or can be Hanshin Ritsume. Anyway, it was an input to start this research, to maybe know you better, as you said, to connect with your true nature, you know? In the West now, and you know the narrative, it's like that this initiation is the magic key point that connects you to this energy, and this energy will do now everything. It's smart, and he know where to go, he know how much to say stay in the healing, and you are just a channel. And you don't think this narrative, because of this narrative, we lost a bit the research, you know, we are just channels. No, it's not anymore this kind that we have to do some things.
You also have this, you have this criticism against this narrative of, you know, you have this, you know, too good to be true story, right? Here's this initiation. I had no prior knowledge, experience, or capability. I just received it, and now I will give it to you, and you will, without experience, without doing nothing, without any personal responsibility, will now be able to put your hands on a person's head or butt or anywhere, and this magical energy from the stars, from the universe will come and will do everything for you, and it cannot do any harm, and there are no contraindications and nothing, and
Mm.
everything is stars, and okay, there is very, very minimal responsibility in here. There is very minimal
It's a complete delegation also.
experience.
You
It's
delegate.
completely, yeah, it's the total. It's a very interesting case, this, and I say that at least I can at least concur on this criticism in the place where it leaves an opening for a complete lack of responsibility. Even for embracing this thing as an excuse to just not do, okay? Why should I practice? Why should I,
Yes.
study and learn more? Why should I go and talk to researchers or learn something new about Reiki or do anything before I go to treat other people? Because I received 20 years ago a workshop, and someone gave me this initiation once or twice or 4 times. And from then until today, I have the magic of the God moving through me. And that's it. I haven't practiced ever since. But now sit on the table and I will cure all of your diseases. So this, at least in a way, this narrative, it leaves an opening. Now it depends on the person who takes this, right?
Yeah, sure.
It leaves an opening for irresponsibility. Now, do I believe that Reiki works like this? First of all, I believe that, okay, it's just a matter of story and who you ask and when. I mean, if you ask someone in Japan, the story is different. There's less about just, outside agency that does everything and you are nothing. Much less of that. There is much responsibility of the person. First responsibility is on the person to treat themselves and to treat family and friends and the people around. Master, teacher as well. There is much responsibility and there's much, it's meritocratic. The levels of Reiki are meritocratic. They're not just because you received this initiation. Do I believe that Reiki have the possibility to be like this? Perhaps, but it doesn't matter. I believe in the responsibility of the Reiki practitioner and teacher to be responsible for who he is and how he practices and all that. And yeah, and regarding people taking it and doing everything in 1 day or 2 days, and you have this magic that does everything, I cannot, it exists. I would like to also incorporate it into the myriad of traditions of Reiki. I do not at least give it a grade as far as what is more or less authentic, for example, or more or less effective. I can say that it seems, at least in some preliminary studies done, that people with more experience with Reiki, with more experience treating in Reiki, or being of master level, in several experiments done clinical experiments, have better results when compared to other individuals, or at least their mood seems to be part and parcel of the end result. So that kind of reminds the story of just you're just here by accident. The healing happens, you're just here by accident. So yeah.
Yes, this is a wide topic, but yes, I agree. I agree with what you said. I agree. It's about responsibilities. Yes, This is maybe is the most important word, um, and seeing that everything happened by magic, and is a way also to don't take responsibility about at first your well-being, at first your health and healing, and as psychologists, you know,
I want to, I'm sorry, I want to add something to this as well because of what you said.
yes,
I
go.
do think that Reiki as a system is done very ingeniously to kind of ensure or to kind of ensure that it works properly. Okay, there are inside mechanisms in the symbols and the way that they are used in the threefold technique and the initiation. And it's not just the initiation, it's the way that the initiation is taught to the master as he leads it, and the way that the protocol is performed, and the whole story around it. The Reiki story, the Reiki system, not just the story, the system is made pedagogically very ingeniously to ensure a very, very high level of success, to really make sure that a lot of people, even if they come from very, modest background, that they still can make it work. And that I do not disrespect at all. On the opposite.
No, yes.
Okay, but it doesn't mean
yes. No, the point is, it's for sure not from where you come, but is where you are going. It means if I watch my 30 years experience with Reiki, I can easily say that I pass from this magical view of Reiki to a more realistic way. But what gave me this change, it was not the initiation in themselves, and I got a lot of them, but it was the time, the practice, the study, the research that I made. And this brings a knowledge and awareness about the same elements that was in the first. Now I see it completely in a different way, And I think this is very important for me. I talk for me, and maybe sorry that I now will take some time to bring my view. But for me, I think offer this time to people to make their experience, and don't just say, watch, now you have it, go. This maybe could help to, I don't know, help people to go a bit more deep and inside themselves and take the responsibility that you mentioned. That is very important. And
the balance, right?
Yes, exactly.
The entrance is very simple. There is simplicity written all about Reiki, but on the other side, there is very deep philosophical, esoterical depth, very, very deep knowledge. And this goes to all the bottoms and all the depths of, of religious and spiritual experiences and knowledge, but through a very simple gateway.
Yes.
Amazing. This bridge but it is a bridge.
Yeah, it's a bridge. It's like bottom down, because it's something that in a way, comes from up to down, but then from down, you have to go up. It means this, how we can tell it, this connection that I have to get aware inside me, and that brings a transformation. It don't happen just because of a click that you say, but how much it can be perfect. Well, it was very interesting to talk with you about this issue, and it's an issue that I like very much, because I think really what distinguish Reiki to all the other healing systems, maybe, is exactly this initiation. And this ritual is amazing. It's something that it's something that brings, in a way, the esoteric chant, or how we can call it, charm,
Yes, yes, yes.
But you just get aware about this esoteric when you start to work on it, and my criticism is exactly this, that they make it to see too much easy, and we lost really the real essence. And it's important that people like you and others make researches and help us to a better understanding of what is Reiki. So I really thank you for your work, for what you've done, and what you are still doing, for your sharing, for the information, and also for this amazing interview that I had the pleasure to have with you. And
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liad.
Thank you, Graziano.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, thank you.